The players of Magic the Gathering have dealt a devastating blow to Wizards of the Coast, leaving the company to try to figure out what it will take to get us back buying sealed product. On today's video, we'll be discussing some of the things that players have to be concerned with when buying anything going forward, because reprints will definitely be on the mind of Wizards of the Coast. What will Wizards do? The ball is in their court and we're waiting to see what the next play will be. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. When you look at the arsenal that Wizards of the Coast has available in their playbook, it is extensive, and players need to be aware of this whenever they're buying cards right now. There are certain cards that seem to hit certain reprint ranges, which means it takes a few years, they hit a reprint, they make it a mythic or a rare. They keep a certain cycle. Although the cycle is not apparent to everyone, certain cards you can almost track by the year if you look close enough to see when the last reprint was, as well as the correlation to the increase in price. On today's video, guys, we have to take a look at this, because Wizards of the Coast can make small adjustments to products that have not been printed yet. Things like Phyrexia All is One, those cards are already printed and waiting in a warehouse. But for sets that are on the books and yet to be printed, which means they're still on a computer or a server, it is not that hard for the R&D department to make small adjustments or to swap out a card entirely. Which means certain cards that probably weren't slated to get reprinted yet may be added into the mix as a bonus to entice players back to the game. And although that will be a great feature for players buying those particular sealed products and a way for Wizards to increase attention into a particular product, for a player who wants to buy this card now, this may not be the time. This may not be the moment to buy a slightly expensive card from Standard or an Eternal format where you've always wanted to get it and it seemed like a good deal. And with the Black Friday sales that just happened, it was an immense amount of volume of single sales that happened, especially in the Modern format. A lot of sales happened on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That's what I was getting from all my LGSs I deal with, because let's face it, everyone's avoiding sealed product right now. They don't want to touch it. It's like the curse of Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast and Mark's mouthpiece. They don't want to talk to him. They don't want to deal with them. They want statements. And until we get statements from those companies, nobody's buying it. It's like a giant boycott at this point. Has a lot of the LGSs worried, by the way. Okay, even things like Brothers War. I know some other channels are kind of hyping that certain products are low in volume. That's not the information I'm getting on my end. Okay, I just want you guys to be aware of that. I'm not saying in that area it's not happening, but where I'm at, I could access literally thousands of boxes of Brothers War collector product if I wanted to. Kind of weird, right? So now let's take a look at this. When you're looking at reprints, when we're focused on what could happen, you got to protect your dollar, which means some of the cards I'm going to share with you today, I will say avoid or buy based on what I think is going to happen. Take it for what it's worth, but at least you'll be a little more informed of what's going on in the market, because some of these cards are likely getting a reprint faster than would be expected. If it's a product they can slip it into like a specialty product, chances are Wizards of the Coast is going to go ahead and do that, because they got to make us happy, right? They got to make the players come back and be on side. So be aware of it. So let's get to the video today. We'll discuss it as we're going through, and I'll be really interested to see what you guys say about some of the choices I'm showing you, as well as what you think Wizards of the Coast will do to make this better for players going forward. The first card I want to talk about is Leech-Ridden Swamp, mainly because of the fact it already is being reprinted, right? Jumpstart 2022 already has this card coming back around, but that's what makes this card a safe buy. They already had it on the books. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's fetchable. It's used in Modern. It has some playability to it, okay? Cards like this are always going to have a home in a deck, and they're not going to be very expensive because of the amount of times it's been reprinted. So you could go ahead, buy an OG original version of this card, not spend a lot of money, and still feel like you're getting good enjoyment and good value for $1 on a card like this. I mean, the foil is still a little more expensive because foils were hard to get back then in sets like this. But if you just wanted to buy this card in an OG original format, you're talking less than $2, okay? $3 here in Canada, a very inexpensive card. But when we're talking about a card like Tormund's Crypt, this card is 20 cents if you buy it in one of the newer editions. But if you go for an old original from the dark, you're still talking 12 to 15 bucks, almost $18 here in Canada. And I would swing that value because any time it gets reprinted, when you're looking for bling, you're looking at the old style. Because it's been reprinted so often, I don't mind spending 40 bucks and buying 4 near mint copies of a card like this. It's not like the dark is being reprinted, and this original stuff just doesn't come around that often. If you can find good conditions, that's a safe buy as well. It's going to have a little value, it's going to have nostalgia and flair to it later on, and it fits into a lot of decks and makes it very playable for people trying to exile graveyards. A very nice card. Now, Shadow Spear. Theros Beyond Death. This card is a reprint target. It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be coming back around this early. It should be another 2 years out. But I bet you Wizards has this on slate to come back. I think it was also in a secret lair. But when you look at this card and you see what it does and see its playability, and with all the cards they've given us recently, this guy is a definite reprint target. I wouldn't be spending the 20-something dollars to buy this card. I would hold back and wait. I think somewhere in the next 12 to 14 months, a card like this has a good chance of coming back instead of being in like 2025, which what I would normally predict for a card like this. I think it's going to come back in 2023 already because they see it has a little bit of value to it. It's a rare. It's not going to be too hard. They might upshift it to Mythic, but they're definitely cards like this are on the reprint, like kind of the radar because it's easy to get out there. It's a cheap card that players want and it has a home. So yeah, look at cards like that and be afraid. Same with Ledger Shredder, okay? This just came out this year. Secret Lair style, sure. Under opened because it was in New Capenna, probably, which means chances are either a Secret Lair or a very quick reprint of some kind of like Commander Blue style product, something like that to get this guy back out there because they realize it's a 20-something dollar card. They can cash in some value on it, and it's so new, it's not going to devastate the market, but it'll bring the price down remarkably lower. It'll make that card like an $8 to $10 card, depending on the way in which they reprint it. But it's been played a lot. I see it all the time still in Arena. I'm sure it's being played Modern, although I haven't played Modern myself. You guys can comment in the comment section. But a card like this, just brutal. I've seen it used so effectively. Now here I'm showing you a 9th edition Blood Moon. The foil is 62 bucks because, you know, it's kind of hard to get these things in foil, obviously. The OG original from the dark will hold value. The foils will hold value. But they've drained this card of value so much that it probably will not be reprinted for a while. It shouldn't be. So a card like this for 11, 12 bucks, I consider a pretty safe buy. You'll get lots of playable value out of it, and it's not going to cost an arm and a leg to buy it. So a card like this, I consider fairly safe to buy. You can look up other editions and versions, but depending on the artwork you may like. But it's a pretty safe bet that this is not on the books to get reprinted right now. They'd want this card again to rise to around that $20 level. So why drain this kind of asset even further? They probably shouldn't. Leave it alone, let it gain over the years, and slowly climb back up as the market absorbs cards like this. Now the next card is Aether Vial. This one just got butchered on the last reprint, right? When we saw this stuff come out, it just got tanked out, and that is great for players who want this card. This is a safe bet, okay? It's not coming back around, no way. It just came out, right, this year. So the fact it's out again, and it's like $14 on the market, this is a very safe card to buy right now. It's not getting a reprint for years to come because the market just got so butchered that there's no way to save it, which is great for players who want to enjoy the card and not feel like they're getting hosed on the price with another reprint. Because at 14 bucks, what's another reprint going to do? Bring it down to $5, $6 and it'll never recover again. Wizards doesn't really want that, depending on what they've stationed for this particular card. So let's be aware of it and enjoy this card at its very low price. Endurance. All right, guys, it's dropping here in price. You see that market price? Yeah, dipping down. This is a reprint target. Okay, I know it's only Modern Horizons 2, but it's a great card. It's got flash, got reach. It's got stuff working for it. So a card like this is definitely on the reprint target where Wizards wants to get a little bit of cash out of it. They know a reprint at Mythic level will probably only drop it to the $20 level, which means it's still going to be a valuable card, but not overly valuable. But it will draw some players into saying, hey, this is another cool Mythic inside this set that has some value. Be aware of that. Don't pay the 30-something dollars for this card. Wait into 2023 and see if this card drops to a more manageable level if a reprint is announced in a new set this year, because it may come around, okay? Cards like that, I feel like they got to find some cards to milk, and this is one of the targets. Same here with Fury. The exact same boat as Endurance. Modern Horizons 2, great card, a lot of playability factor. It's over the $20 mark, primed for a reprint, okay? It's got double strike, it's brutal, it's awesome, and they know it has value, okay? They built it that way. And now they can exploit that value for a little extra cash, which means you, the player, can benefit by not buying it. By letting it sit there, not buying a card like this that is a good target for a reprint very quickly, I might add. Somewhere in the next 12 to 14 months, it's possible cards like this could come around in some kind of secret layer version or some special edition set like a Modern Horizons 3. They may reprint a card like this just to tank the value a bit to draw players into buying a product. Mana Crypt. Okay, I need this card, by the way. I gotta be honest. I need this card. Now, the market has it at $176. Now, everyone always says, oh, it always recovers. No, it won't. I remember this thing being like, $400. It won't always recover. They've reprinted it a few times, and they will need a big marquee card like this to draw players into specialty sets like a Modern Horizons 3 or some kind of new product this year. This will be a card. Okay, maybe it's even in Dominaria Remastered. They may have drawn this kind of card into sets like this to draw a player in. It'll be very hard on the track printing, but it'll still be around. But when it comes out, it always tanks the price about 30%. Temporarily. That's the last couple times it's been around 30%, tanks down and slowly climbs up. So be aware of that. A card like this is not the time to buy it. I myself am waiting for a reprint so I can take advantage when it goes cheaper. I'd love to have one for a couple of commander decks I'm working on, so yes, I want to get one. Pardon me. Last card, and I choked on my own word I was about to say, and that's the Triomes. Now, the Triomes should not be scheduled for a reprint. Okay, this should not be the time to reprint them, but Wizards will be looking for ways of drawing in income. And people, when these were $5 and they laughed at me, I told people to buy them, and some of you did. Congratulations. This kind of card probably will get a reprint. Somewhere in the next 24 months, this card's coming back around. I just think that Wizards will try to take some of the value out of this, draw it down to like a $7, $8 card. So be aware of this, okay? I love the Triomes. I'm using them, but they are fetchable. People are going after this kind of stuff, and that's the reason for it. So a great card to have around, and I just think this would be one of those targets that people are like, yeah, let's put this one out there for players to buy. So that's where I kind of stand on this. I just don't want players being caught in this kind of cycle where Wizards is looking to print value. They want things to drop quickly to get players' eyeballs back on the sealed product, back on the game. Okay, they want cash going their way. They'll use secret layers, commander decks, because they could put some of these products in commander decks too, right? They'll use it in special like Black Series decks, like Commander Black, Commander Green. Whatever they have to do, they're going to do it. They may shave some products off. That doesn't matter. When they want your eyeballs back on a product, they will reprint things at a faster rate in sets that haven't actually hit the level of printing yet. If it's on the R&D and they can put it out there, they will, because they need to have cash flow coming in. But you as the player being aware of that and having that knowledge, it's a weapon. You can use it to save yourself money as long as you're willing to be patient and wait to get some of that value out of those cards. So thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Of course, I'm curious to know what everyone's thinking right now, because I really think some of these cards are coming around. Which ones do you think I missed? Put it out there for me. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow for another video. Have an awesome day today. And of course, everyone, a big shout out to all the fantastic patrons on the channel who make videos like this entirely possible. Without your support, this channel wouldn't exist. Thanks again, everyone. Have an awesome day. Welcome back to the end of the video, and thanks for being here. If you made it this far in the video, if you're one of the special people who makes it this far, you can go ahead and put a hail to the king in the comments section. That way I know that you made it this far, that you are one of those people. One of the true believers at the end of the video. Guys, have an awesome day. I'll see you tomorrow.